Hi, and welcome to Hammer's Hacks, brought to you by Gold Tip Arrows and B-Singer Stabilizers. I'm your host, Tim Gillingham, and on each episode, I'll give you a simple tip, something that you probably didn't even consider that will help you become a better archer and bow hunter. This is a tip that I give people, and I use it at the very basic levels all the way up to the very extreme levels of competitive shooters. And people come to me all the time, and, I sell some custom grips like these for Bowtechs, and guys are like, I need a shelf, or I need this, or I need that, or I'm getting my finger up here in the sight window. And we all know that's a huge negative with broadheads. But one of the things that I do to really lock my wrist position in and my hand position, which is extremely critical to being an accurate bow hunter and a target archer, is you'll notice here on the front of my riser, I have a piece of duct tape with an O-ring under it. Okay. So when I seat my hand into that grip, okay, I drop my index finger down to that O-ring, okay? And that O-ring locks my wrist position, and that is extremely critical if you're shooting in a lot of vertical stuff, up and downhill. We teach people to draw straight and then pivot. One of the problems you have when you're shooting angles is you don't pull hard enough. You can't get your body in that same alignment. It's hard, it's unnatural. So, having little things like this to key on are very critical. And a lot of you notice if you watch me in competition, even hunting, I always wear a glove. Okay. I want that hand to slide torque free into the grip. It's going to find the spot, that it wants to go to. I'm not going to force it anywhere. Guys that wrap their, grip with grip tape, they create the ability to torque it. And that's even more the case when you're dealing with very high let off hunting bows where you're holding nothing. It's very easy to torque, especially when you're in conditions like what we talked about, where you're in out of position. If you have a bow that, if you're not doing everything natural like that, you're going to have a lot of problems. So I always hunt with gloves. I always shoot with gloves when I'm hunting, but I also, when I compete, I wear a little spandex glove that allows me to get into my grip torque free, whether my hands are sweating, whether they're cold, they're wet. I get a more consistent grip that way. So I think if you'll try that, it's just a simple O-ring under a piece of duct tape. It's probably better than, I've tried different things, but that stays the best. I love the feeling on my finger on the O-ring. If I'm shooting uphill, I can drop my finger to the bottom of the O-ring, and that keeps me from heeling the bow. So even gloves, if you watch guys on TV and they're cold and they're shooting a release with a glove on, if you're going to do that, you need to make sure you practice with it. I have a pair of Kuiu strong fleece gloves I like to wear. I actually slip the fingers on them so I can actually get my index finger here out so I can feel that, because I don't like the feel. I want to feel like I'm in the yard shooting, right? I want to be able to feel that thing, but I want my hands to be warm, but I also don't want the animal to see it. I also want to make sure that my anchor point when I'm in here is going to be the same. If I pad that up with a glove, it's going to be slightly different than if I went to a bare hand. So if you watch guys in hunting scenarios, you can always see their face shining. You can always see their hands shining. So those are the two things that, you really want to cover up. But you gotta really pay attention to details. Just a little hack that I think will make you a better archer if you'll try that. Hey, before you go, there's some great ways to keep getting even more info and tips. Subscribe to Gold Tipped Archery Ops podcast to hear my conversation with top experts in archery and bow hunting. You can also check out Gold Tip on Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. Thanks for listening, and always start tough and stay true out there.